Okay, so these are the garage cheap box fans that I wanted. It gets really hot here in Florida, and working in the garage in the summer is beyond no fun, especially if you don't have enough air moving across you. So usually I just take a little fan and I put it, wherever I am, but it gets annoying and gets in the way. So I wanted to come up with this process, which is a cheapest fan I could find, just a box fan. You get this at Home Depot for like $13, and Walmart like $11. It's a 20-inch box fan. And then I got pieces of 1x4, so 1 inch, 4 inch nominal dimension, and made a little gimbal, made a little thing that it rotates in and out, as well as up and down. So that way you can point it at you where you need to. And how it's made is just, there's a carriage bolt in there. So this is a 3/8 carriage bolt, followed by 2 washers, followed by another washer, and a wing nut, just the way I can adjust it, make it hold its position. Up top, same thing. There's a carriage bolt up there, forcing itself down into that, just a piece. And you can see here, I couldn't find a stud there, so I used a regular toggle bolt, since our studs don't run where I wanted it to be, which is farther over, so I don't hit my head on the darn thing. Just mount a cutover piece. I got, in this case, I just measured, I wanted about 1/8 of an inch between these points, and I wanted about 1/2 an inch on both sides. So I could move this thing around if I needed to, take it in and out. So when this thing dies and its life cycle's over, I can easily get another one. These ceiling mounted fans at Home Depot were like at least $100 for the cheapest one I could find, and it was on like a clearance rack. I took the feet that normally go here when it stands up, I cut off the little pieces. They extend out too far. Just put a screwdriver in here with a hammer and it fell right off. Screwed it down, same thing, and that's what holds it in. The wing nuts, why I went with the wing nuts is because I wanted to, of course, control how much pressure this has, so that way it holds its position when it runs, instead of it just maybe going, I'll turn it on low, going everywhere. And it blows right on me. I'm probably 8 feet away and I can feel it, and this is on low. So these box fans have a good CFM. I looked it up. I glued and screwed the joints, so pre-drilled, and then use 1.5 inch screws, because that's what I had left over, and glued them as well. I just judged this to come down a little bit past here. This is a total eyeball. As long as you're past the midpoint, it doesn't matter how long this tail is, except for down here. I didn't want to hit my head on it, so I didn't want it down here. This other one I have over here is my first one I had, and I left more on it just because I didn't care, honestly. But it's the same story. This one is a little bit bigger because I took the dimensions before I bought the thing. So I would recommend you buy the fan first and build your box, take your dimensions, because the dimensions on the website, like on Walmart, showed with the box that contains this box fan. So I was using that dimension. That's why there's a larger gap on both sides. And you want to leave enough where your hand can get in there. If you're not tall enough, since I'm 6'4", I have no problem reaching that. But if you're not tall enough, you could run that over, in this case, to just a little switch. You can buy those at Home Depot as well. Or even one idea is in the summer when we pull the cars in and they're so darn hot, because leaving them outside is also hot, but if we were to bring them in, I want the fans to come on and evacuate that hot air instead and kick it out. And that's just something I'll try out when it gets hotter in the summer. Right now it's 2 days before Christmas, so it's only 75 degrees instead of 95 degrees like it normally is in the summer here. So that's it. I'd say tips are to make sure you get the fan first of the size you want, and accurately get that. Don't use the website because those are the shipping dimensions, not the actual fan dimensions. Find your studs in your ceiling if you can. If you can't, use toggle bolts. That piece up there, or this over here, this is a 3/8, like I said, and I made it. I think this is probably 2.5 inch. This one up here is a 3 inch. It hits the back edge of this, so it never allows it to go fully flush, which I didn't want. I didn't want it to tilt in accidentally if I push it. So I extended it so it has a little backstop. That little carriage bolt hits this thing. Other things, just do your measurement of your entire fan, whatever you're going to use, before you go to the wood store, if you can, so that way you get enough pieces. I got two 10-foot pieces. I'm sorry, two 8-foot pieces for each one. I had enough. That's two 8-foot pieces because that'll fit in the car, and then that's another two 8-foot pieces that'll fit in the car. And I had some minor leftover, maybe a foot and a half of each one left over. So no longer I have to use the little. This is what I usually use. This 30-year-old fan I've had. I'll use these and probably put them on, like I said, like a timer in the summer and see if it does anything to help evacuate the heat from the cars when I don't want to park them outside for whatever reason. So hope that helps. Hope you find it useful, and try or make one and let me know if you are successful, and post a comment below.